Winters are gone and it's spring now in Canada, but in Sault Ste. Marie is still a lot of snow. I am in one of the park in Sault Ste. Marie and snow is not melted yet, but still it's a spring season. And if you recognize, it's a skiing rink in the park, and you can see some ground there. Snow is melted there, and in few days all snow will melt and there will be a big green grass park. And for those people who don't know where I stay and those people who came new to my channel, I stay in Sault Ste. Marie, Canada, and if you see behind me, that's USA. So there are two Sault Ste. Marie, one in Canada, one in USA. Sault Ste. Marie is also known for its own PR program, which is RNIP. So in this video, I will be discussing about the overview and eligibility for RNIP. Just to give you some information about myself, so I have applied for RNIP in Sault Ste. Marie and I got the approval from city, and post that I have applied for federal and it's about 1.5 months. I have applied for myself along with my wife and daughter, and after 1.5 months I have received the confirmation for biometrics for my wife. And just for your information, 14 years and younger children do not need biometrics. So my daughter is 3 years old and she is not eligible for giving biometrics. So I keep you posted on my RNIP process in my future videos. So RNIP process is two-step process. First one is to get the approval from the city and second from the federal. Having said that, both have different eligibility criteria. Federal have its own requirements and city have its own requirement. City's requirement may vary from different city to city. For example, there are 9 or 10 RNIP programs running throughout in Canada in different cities. So each city can have different requirement, but federal requirement is common for all. So let's see each requirement one by one. For that, we have to go to my laptop. Let's check the federal's eligibility criteria first. So this is the official website. The link is in the description if you want to check out. You have to answer a few questions to check the eligibility. First one is, have you already applied for community recommendation? So just say yes. As I mentioned earlier, this is a two-step process. So first step is to take the letter from the community, take the approval from the community. Then you have to apply for federal. So in this case, say yes. Then definitely you are going to apply after November 16th, 2022. So select this. And here are the eligibility criteria. So here I'm going to cover main eligibility criteria, which most of the people will be impacted. First one is work experience. This is very important and many people have doubts and questions in this section. You should have 1 year of experience, to be specific 1560 hours in last 3 years, which includes part-time and full-time both jobs, and which also include one or more different occupation with different employers. For example, you can be into IT, you can be into construction with different companies, which all are included. And the hours must be over a period of at least 12 months. That means all these hours should not be in 12 months. It should be more than 12 months. And it also include the work you done outside Canada. And what does not include is where you have not get paid, like volunteering job or unpaid internship will not be included in these hours. And if you are self-employed, that are also not included. I recommend everyone to read in detail like everything. I'm just taking and picking up few points which are more relevant to everyone. And here comes the interesting topic, international students. So if you are an international student and you studied in Sault Ste. Marie, then you are exempt for showing the work experience. So you don't have to show the work experience if you have studied in Sault Ste. Marie and have fulfilled these criteria. So what are these criteria? You should have 2 years of program or more, which include full-time student over 2+ years, and you are applying for RNIP within 18 months after your completion of the program, which means that after completion of your studies, you have 18 months to apply for RNIP. After 18 months, if you apply for RNIP, you won't be getting exemption from the work experience. You have to show the 1 year of experience. Last point is you have to be there in community for 16 months or more in your 24 months of studies. And this is the one of the important criteria where many people have confusion in this. So I'm going to read it for you. To be exempted from the work experience criteria, your program of study needs to be at least 2 years long. You cannot add together two 1 year programs to meet the work experience requirement under this exemption. That means you should have one program whose length is 2 years and more. Two 1 year programs will not fit into this exemption. It doesn't mean that you are not eligible for RNIP. You are eligible for RNIP if you have two programs of 1 year, but you won't get the exemption for work experience. So, in case you studied in the community for 2 years and two different programs for each year, then you have to show 1 year of experience. You won't get exemption in the experience. And similar guidelines for master degree as well. Also, read the other information which is there. Now, we will see the language requirement. That means English or French test. So, if you see this table, this will show you which type of job require which type of bands. So these are not the IELTS band, these are the CLB bands. So CLB bands and IELTS bands are different. If you want to see the comparison between CLB and IELTS band, you can see in this table. So for tier 0 and 1, you require CLB 6. For tier 2 to 3 jobs, you require CLB 5. And for tier 4 to 5, you require CLB 4, and it is very simple to get. It's not a high requirement for the language test, so it is very easy to get at least a CLB 6. Now we are going to see the education requirement. Education requirement is very simple. So you should have either Canadian degree or ECA. So if you are an international student, you must have a Canadian degree. So you do not require ECA or WES. So WES is one of the organization who do ECA. So you don't need ECA if you have studied in Canada and you have a degree. And for those who have not studied in Canada, they can produce ECA, and WES is the one of the reputed organization who do ECA, and you have to submit that for RNIP. Now we will discuss about the settlement funds. So settlement funds vary on the basis of number of family members. Before clicking on this link, just read these two sentences carefully and click on this link to check the amount. Again, you have to answer few questions after 22. So here is the table. Also, I will share you the checklist. So this is the checklist. You will see this checklist in my future videos. So this is the checklist to apply for federal. So if you see here the proof of funds topic, and if you see the note, it says that you are not required to provide proof of funds if you are already working in Canada with a valid work permit. So in my case, I have a valid work permit and I'm working in Canada. I don't have to show the proof of fund. But for those people who are not here in Canada or they don't have valid work permit, they have to show these amount as per the family members. After settlement fund, it's intended to live in the community. So you should plan to live in the community. And these are the communities for RNIP. And having said that, so I am in Sault Ste. Marie and I have applied for Sault Ste. Marie RNIP. So I'm going to discuss about Sault Ste. Marie RNIP. So these are the websites of these communities. This is the RNIP page for Sault Ste. Marie. And if you see right here, it says RNIP pilot has been extended until February 2024. That means that this program is only until February 2024 and you are planning to apply for RNIP, you have to act now. Also, it doesn't say that it's going to end in February 2024. It might be extended, it might be cancelled or stopped, or it might be made permanent. We don't know. So if you are eligible and you are ready, just apply your application. Let's scroll down and go to applicants. And here are few information mentioned. So please make sure to read this information if you are belongs to these two categories especially. So it says this tier will reopen end of each quarter to a maximum of 5, which include these two tiers. Also, with respect to security guard supervisor, you can read this information. So whenever you go to this page, just read the information what is there on the top. And if you scroll down, you can see the processes or steps required. So first step is to meet the federal's requirement, which we seen just now. And second step is you should have a permanent employment in Susan Mary. That means you should have a employer who supports RNIP, and you should have a permanent role, which means that you in your offer letter there should not be a end date. Also, your employer should fill and give you this form. This is one of the document required for RNIP to apply for city. And there's the another form which is filled by you and submitted to the community. We will see the all documentation later, but first we will see the community requirement. City requirement is a point-based system. So let's quickly check the points. So to be eligible for city, you should have 70 or more points, and 55 you will get from your job. So if you have a job in these knocks, you will get 55 points. There are 38 knock codes which are required by the city. And if you see the note, it says that applicant with a job offer not listed above will be considered only at the discretion of the community recommendation committee, which means that you have a job which is not listed in these knock codes, but you can apply for RNIP, and committee will decide to take your application or not. It is very good point for those people who have job but are not listed here. And if your age is between 18 to 36, you will get 6 points. From 37 to 47, you will get 3 points. And if you are over 48, you will get 2 points. So there is no age limit to apply for RNIP for Susan Mary's. If you are even 60, you can apply for RNIP. Third point is work experience, and that has to be there in priority knock. That means the knock listed above here. So if you have 2, you will get 2 points, and if you have 6 plus, you will get 10 points. You will get extra 8 points if you have worked 1 year full time in Susan Mary. And if you have studied 2 plus years in post secondary institution, you will get 6 points. 1 year, you will get 3 points. So if you own the property in Susan Mary, you will get 8 points. And if you are staying on lease, you will get 4 points. And if your immediate family members are staying in Susan Mary over 1 year, you will get 10 points. And extended family members are staying in Susan Mary minimum for 1 year, you will get 5 points. And definitely you have to show the proof of relationship. So below points are for the people who never lived in Susan Mary. The applicant has visited Susan Mary for at least 5 nights within past 3 years and met with at least 2 employers in their line of work during their visit. Then you will get 8 points. Applicant has an authentic knowledge of and interest in the recreational culture, lifestyle activities found in Susan Mary. You will get 5 points. And below 2 points are with respect to spouse or common law partner. If applicant's spouse have a valid job offer in the priority knock, you will get 10 points, or spouse or common law partner have at least 2 years of work experience in the priority knock, you will get 5 points. And spouse or common law partner have English or French language skill like IELTS test or French test category, you will get 5 points. So these are the eligibility criteria for city. So if you have a job offer, you will be easily eligible for city. Let's come back to processes and step. If you are eligible for RNIP and when you are ready, you can click here and apply for RNIP. These are the documents that you have to provide to the city for your first step or taking the approval from the city. Those are your resume, your English test results, ECA. ECA is not required if you have studied in Susan Mary. So if you have studied in Susan Mary, you have to give your certificate or completion letter, and you have to give your work permit, and this work permit should be approved work permit, not on implied status. So you cannot apply for RNIP when you are on implied status. Implied status means you have applied for work permit, but the decision has not been made on your work permit. So to show you are staying in the community, you have to show rent lease agreement or the ownership of the house. You have to show the proof of work experience. It can be from Canada or outside Canada. You can also include few documentation which will help your file. Those are reference letter or recommendation letter. For example, if you are volunteering in some job, you can ask the employer to give you recommendation letter or the reference letter. You can also take the recommendation letter from the person who is already staying in Sault Ste. Marie. They should have status like citizenship or PR holder. These documents will build up your case in front of selection committee. Also, I want to highlight few things which is on this page. Definitely please read all the steps in advance before applying for RNIP. If you scroll down, you can see few details here. Eligible application will be retained for 1 year. Applications will be reviewed by the Community Recommendation Committee on a monthly basis. And here is one important thing. If you do not hear from us within 6 weeks, then it is likely you are not being considered. So when you have applied your application and you have not received anything from the city within 6 weeks, that means they have not considered you for this time. In next video, we will see how to fill the application form, which is 5911E. That is it in this video. So I have covered main topics for eligibility criteria for RNIP. Everyone's scenario and case are different. So make sure to read eligibility criteria for federal and city by yourself in detail. If you have any questions, you can write down in the comment section. I will try to answer all of them. And coming back to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie, I am near to Roberto Banda. And also I'm near to my workplace, and that's my office building. I'm signing off now. I'll see you in next video. Till then, bye bye, take care. This is one of the heritage site in Sault Ste. Marie, which is Sioux Canal. Sioux Canal is also known as Sioux Locks. In this video, we will see how to fill the application for RNIP. And if you see behind me, you can see entire downtown of Sault Ste. Marie and the frozen canal. So without wasting any more time, let's go to my laptop. To download the form, I'm Susan Mary website and I am on page process and step. And this is the form we require. So I'm just going to click it to download. And as usual, this page will appear. I will click on download. And I have already downloaded here. So I'm just going to open the form. And if you're facing any issues with downloading forms or you are not able to view the form, I have also made a video on that. The links will be in description. So this is the form, Schedule 1, Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. There is also a link called Guide 0118. You can follow this guide as well. So if you see, it's a very lengthy page, but definitely a lot of information in detail. And if you have time, I recommend do check that. And if you don't have time and you want to have your document filled as soon as possible, I will explain you all the component of this form in detail. And I also give my example what I fill in that. So let's begin. So it starts with applicant information. It says your family name, that means your surname, your given name, that is your first name, your passport number, your date of birth, your country of birth, so your current citizenship as per passport. So in my case, it is India. So here you have to fill where you are currently residing. If you are in Canada, you must write Canada. And if you are like in USA, you will write USA. If you are in India or some other country, you have to write the current residence country name. Telephone number, I have put my mobile number here. No extension is required for your mobile number, your email address, your marital status. So these are the option for the marital status. So you can select what is applicable to you. In my case, it was married. And here you have to put how many number of family members are accompanying with you. So for me, it was two members, my wife and my daughter. You don't have to include yourself. Here you have to put your current address, which is related to your country of residence. So I'm in Canada, so I have put my Canadian address here. Second topic is offer of employment. So first one is your company name or employer name, their contact details, their mailing address, province, country, postal code, email address, website if they have. And here you have to provide the physical job location. If the address is not same as above, you have to fill this. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. In my case, I left it blank because I'm working at the same location. You have to put job title same as what is mentioned in your offer letter. And you have to mention knock code where you are going to apply and where this job title fits. And to find which knock code is applicable to you, if you don't know, you can click on this link and this page will open where all tier details are mentioned. And if you scroll down, you can see all the knocks. You can search it by your job title. If you say developer, you can see all the jobs which have developer word in that. You can check and select what knock you are. For example, like if you are software developer or programmer, you can select this knock and same you can fill here. So this code you will get from your employer. So there is one form which you have to taken from the employer. In that document, this code is mentioned. So you just have to copy paste that code from that document to this document. I will be discussing about that document in my next video, but this code you will get from the other document or from the employer. And in the H section, which is main duties of the job, you can write down what you are going to do in this job title. And if you don't know what your main jobs and responsibilities will be in that particular job title, you can take these details from the employer form. So in my case, when I applied for RNIP, I was very new to that role and I don't know the entire roles and responsibilities. I have just known on very high level and I have taken this information from the employer form. And I recommend to do that so because if someone sees your jobs and responsibilities in two different forms, they should match. They should not have different jobs and responsibilities. Is the job offer of an intermediate duration of the employment with no end date? This has to be yes if you have a permanent role in the organization. And if it's no, which means you do not have a permanent role in the organization. And for RNIP eligibility, you should have a permanent role in one of the organization. So how to check that? It's very simple. Just check your offer letter. There should not be an end date mentioned in your offer letter. That means you are a permanent full-time employee. And you have to put your start date when you're going to join the new company. And in case section, you have to mention how you find this job, how it come across to you, how you got to know about that job, and what was the process you did to get this job. I can give you some examples. For example, you have seen the job posting in company's website and you applied from that and you got selected. Or maybe you have seen job posting on Indeed or Monster. So you can mention that. If someone has referred to you for that position, you can also mention that. Next is, did you meet with the employer prior to being offered the job? You can select yes, in person, remotely, or no. In my case, it was no, so I have selected no, but you can select what is applicable to you. Next is language proficiency results. So I have given IELTS exam for that. So you have to mention IELTS. If you have given IELTS and if you have taken French or other tests, you can mention the name of the test. Here you have to mention date when results are announced. And here you have to mention when you have taken the exam. And here you have to mention individual scores. And now we will see work experience. So if you see the first point here, so it says if you are an international student and exempt from the work experience requirement. If you don't know what is this, just check out my previous video, I have explained in detail what is this. If it is yes, then you don't have to fill your work experience details here. And if it is no, you have to mention all the work experience what you did in last 3 years, and you have to provide proof. And considering if you have selected no, you have to fill the duration like from date, to date, employer name, address, job title, and knock code of that particular job. It might be different what you are currently applying for. For example, you have jobs here saying like a developer, and you have past experience in testing. You can mention that, and both have different knock codes. And your main jobs and responsibilities. And also you have to give reference name from that particular organization, email address, and their contact number. And if you have more than one job in last 3 years, you can click plus here and same details will be appear. So you can add how many you want to add. And if you want to remove, just click on this minus sign. It will be gone. And make sure that you don't have to fill your entire work experience. You have to fill for 3 years. In education section, first point is your highest level of education obtained. So here is high school, 1 year program at university, 2 years, bachelor's degree, master degree, and doctorate degree. Here you have to select the highest level of degree what you have. In my case, it was master degree. So I have selected master. And you have to mention when you have taken that degree and other information. And next is, was your education completed outside Canada? If it is yes, you have to provide ECA document and ECA details. If no, then you don't have to put these details. And if you don't know what is ECA, I have explained in my previous video. Do check out that if you have not seen. We are almost end of the document. So 6 point is settlement funds. This point says that you are aware of how much settlement fund you require if you are not working at present. And you have to say yes because you have seen my video, so you cannot say you don't know. And if you want to know what settlement amount is, you can check my previous video. I have explained in detail, or you can click on this link. It will redirect to one of the IRCC page where you can see the amount, but you have to say yes here. And last point is declaration. So you have to put your signature here and you have to put date. Here is the important tip for the signature. You cannot put digital signature here because that is not enabled. So what you have to do is either you have to take the printout and do the physical sign and scan it, or you can make this PDF file as a normal PDF file. Then you can put digital signature in that. For that, you have to go to the print option, and in the printer, you have to select as print as PDF, then give the print command. The new PDF will generate, and in that new PDF, you have to open and you can put your signature in that. And that's everything for this form.
Yeah, the last step is very important, so make sure to watch it. So make sure to subscribe to Pushpinder Singh and put the notification, enable the notification to all, so that you can get the videos, latest videos, and regarding RNIP and Suicide Query. Thank you.
Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to another video. Once again, I am at the one of the beautiful places in Sault Ste. Marie, which is port of Sault Ste. Marie. It is very close to Roberto Bandar 10 Pavilion, if you see this. And it is very close to the river. Behind me is city's office, and also RNIP official sits here and make the decisions. Talking about RNIP, in this video we are going to see how to fill the employer's form. And this employer's form definitely has to be filled by employer, not from the applicant or the employee. So let's go through that. For that, we have to go to my laptop. This form should be filled by an employer and not by employee or the applicant. So first of all, we have to download the form. So where to download? So I am at Sault Ste. Marie RNIP website, and there's a link called RNIP Offer of Employment Form. You can click here and click here to download. There you go. And form is downloaded. Same form can be downloaded from IRCC website. And I have made a video on that. You can check out the video if you want to download from IRCC website. The links will be in description. So let's continue on this form. Here is the form titled Offer of Employment to a Foreign National. And if you want to know how to fill the form in detail, there is a guide. If you click on that, you will see this page, which have a lot of information in details. You can go through that in detail. If you want to deep down into one of the option where you need more information, or else this video is sufficient enough to fill. So let's continue. This form has to be filled by 3 people: HR of the company, the manager of the applicant, and the applicant. So let's begin. Initial details are mostly filled by HR, which is business operating name, legal name, their contact details, and mailing address, another business address if different than mailing address. Next is NAICS code, which is North American Industry Classification Sector. If you don't know this code, you can click on this link. It will redirect to the page where you can find out what code is there for your organization as per the nature of the business of the organization. For example, you can see agriculture, forestry, like construction. Let's take an example that the company is into construction. So you can click on 23. You don't have to write 23. 23 is not the code. If you click on that, there are subcategories that you have to select, and these are the subcategories under 23. So you can select one of them, and still this is not the final code. If you select like construction of building, you have to click on that, and there are some more subcategories. You have to select one. I am selecting the first one just for an example, and the another one. And this is the code you have to fill. So you have to click all the subcategories until there are no subcategories. So this is the one, so which is under construction, this, and this, and this is the last one. So this will be potential NAICS code. Here you have to put company's website, and here date of establishment, size of business, number of employee you have to select accordingly, and gross income. So section 2 supposed to be filled by a manager. So manager's family name, given name, manager's job title, contact details, email address. Section 3 is also filled by a manager. So job title, the knock code, the category. This is the category of job. For example, O level job, A level, B level, C level, and D level. So that level you have to fill in the 19th point. Here you have to check number of options with respect to the job. For example, job is full-time. If yes, check it. Job has no end date, then check it. Likewise, non-seasonal job needed in the community, represents the labor market need, located in the community, employer carries on the business in the community. If job location is different than the business address which is mentioned on the first page, then you have to fill this address. And here you have to fill expected start date of the employment, when the applicant is going to start the job. And if he has already joined the organization, you have to mention the start date. In 23 point, all the main roles and responsibility has to be mentioned in brief. And again, manager is the correct person to mention all these details. Also, he has to select what is the minimum criteria or minimum education requirement for that particular job. You don't have to put the applicant's highest degree, but you have to select the minimum education required for that particular position. For example, job might need a minimum qualification of bachelor degrees, but the applicant already have master degree. So you have to select the bachelor's degree which is required for the job. How was the candidate selected for this position? Here you have to write what process you have followed to hire that person. For example, he has applied and you have taken the interview, or maybe some might have referred to you and you have taken the interview, something like that. Was an interview conducted? You can select as per what you have processed or what you have done, and you have to provide some details here. And below that, you have to provide more information about the job offer letter. And here you can also add the same information what you have filled above. For example, how he has hired, what are the roles and responsibilities with respect to the job, what minimum qualification is required for that particular job, and so on. And on 25th point, you can also mention what key factors is required for that particular job or what skills or experience required for the job. For example, you can mention some generic term if you don't have any particular skill required. For example, you can mention good communication skills, quick learner, problem solving, managing things independently, something like that. In 26th point, you have to mention if any documentation or certification or licensing is required for that particular job. If yes, you can click on yes and mention what type of certificate or license is required. If no, you don't have to put anything. For example, if any job requires AGCO certification or license, you can click on yes and put AGCO. In 27th point, all the wages information has to be mentioned. For example, amount per hour, per year, total number of work hour per day, per week, and so on. Overtime details, if applicable. In 28th point, you have to mention how the wages will be paid. For example, bi-weekly or monthly. Mostly it will be bi-weekly. In 29th point, you have to mention what benefits applicant will be getting from the organization. You can check whatever is applicable and continue. Fourth section is the applicant details. So manager can contact the applicant to fill this detail or ask him to fill these details. So details are surname, given name, gender, date of birth, UCI. All applicant know what is UCI. Country of birth, country of residence, citizenship, passport number, marital status, accompanying family members, and their date of birth. So I have two family members, and I have put my wife's name and my daughter's name and their date of birth besides their name. Applicant's current mailing address, their email ID, and the contact number. Fifth section is the declaration. So this is to be filled by the manager. So he has to read and check all the boxes and put his or her name, signature, and date. Sixth section is the applicant section. Applicant has to read all the information carefully and check all the boxes and his or her name, signature, and date. So once the form is completed, manager and the applicant has to sign this form. And here is the challenge. Signature option is not enabled for this form, but still you have to sign it digitally. I'll show you this. So there is a sign option here, and I have one signature added here, but this is disabled. That means you cannot use this signature here. So what you have to do? So first option and simplest option is you can print this form. Both manager and applicant can sign this form and you can scan it and make it a PDF and you can upload it on the website. The next and the suitable option is make this PDF as a simple PDF. Then signature will enable and you can put your signature there. I will show you how you can do that. For that, I'll put some details in the form. Me and so this step you have to do only after you have completely filled the form, because once you convert into a regular PDF, all this option you cannot edit. Okay, so I'll show you how. So I have put few details. So I'm going to print this file. For that I have to go to this option and print. And we are not going to actually print in a physical paper, but we have to print as a PDF. So you have to select Microsoft Print to PDF option in printer and just click on print. It will ask you to save this form. I'm going to save this on my desktop. So this is the PDF form. And if you see here, I cannot edit this form. If you go down and see the details which I have filled here, so this is the same form. And now if I go to sign option, the signature panel is enabled, but there are no signature. If you don't know how to add the signature, you can follow this process. If you don't have your signature added to Acrobat Reader, you can add it by clicking on Add Signature. I will type my name, and this will be one of my signature. If you like it, you can just say Apply, and signature is added, and you can put wherever you want to put, for example here, and yes, and you can increase the size or decrease the size. So this looks good, so I will put it here. So this is my signature. Another way to add your signature is to type your actual signature or draw your signature. If you have a mobile phone with stylus or a touch screen laptop, you can take the stylus or you can draw from your mouse whatever you want to draw. And if you click on apply, your signature will be there. And another option is to upload an image. For that, you can take a white paper and sign it and take a click from your mobile phone and you can upload it that as a signature. I have downloaded some sample signature from the net just to show you as an example. So I click on apply. And this is how you can add the signatures in the document. And make sure to upload this document with the signature, not the earlier one. And that's everything in this form. And don't forget to save this form. That's everything in this video. I hope you like this information, and I will be back with more information on RNIP. So stay tuned to my channel, and if you are not subscribed, subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to another video. In this video, we will see how to apply RNIP application for Susan Mary. Let's see the process. For that, we have to go to my laptop. To apply for Susan Mary RNIP, you have to go to their website, which is Welcome to SSM. You can type RNIP Susan Mary in Google to search it. And when you find it, you will click on the link. This is their page. You have to click on applicant. You might have seen this page in my last videos. So once you are eligible for RNIP and you have all documentation ready, then you are ready to apply for RNIP. If you don't know the eligibility criteria for federal and community, I have made a separate video on that. And if you want to know how to fill the application form and the employer's form, I have made video on that as well. Once your documentation are ready, which are mentioned here, you can apply for RNIP by clicking here, which is fifth step. If you click here, this application form is a 3-step process. So I will show you how to fill this form by putting some dummy details. Here you have to put your last name or family name. This is your first name or given name, your email ID, your phone number, your date of birth, country of citizenship. Mine is India, country of birth, India, country of resident, Canada, family status. You can select what is applicable to you. Total number of family members, including primary applicant. In my case, it was 3, my wife, my kid, and me. So you can select the number of people, including you. So I will select 3 here. You can save this form and you can continue later. But for now, I will click on next. Here you have to put employer's details, job title of primary applicant, qualifying work experience. So you have to put what you have mentioned in the application form or what is mentioned on your offer letter. So I'll select software developer, employer name, ABC. You have to give the address of the employer, which is supposed to be Susan Mary, because that's the one of the eligibility criteria that employer has to be in Susan Mary. 123 Queen Street, city, postal code, the phone number, email address, primary applicant, job offer, occupation title. Here you have to mention knock code title as per IRCC. If you don't know that, just type knock code Canada and go to this site. You will see this page. So if you are a software developer, for example, so just type there. And if you see here, it says software developer and programmers. So you have to select this option. This is the title. So you can copy and paste here. Here you have to select your tier. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will select 1. Here you have to fill the knock code, and same can be found from here. For example, we have taken software developer. Its tier category is 1, and this is the knock code. So you can copy and paste here. Then you have to write your wages per hour. I'll write, for example, let's say 30. Here you have to give your start date. For example, you started last month. Then click next. And this is the last step where you have to upload all the documents. So this is employer's form. This is application form, your resume, your IELTS exam. So here is education document. So have you been educated in Canada? If you say yes, you have to upload your Canadian degree. If you say no, you have to upload your ECA. Are you in Canada with a work permit? If you say yes, you have to upload your work permit. If you say no, then you are not eligible for RNIP. So you have to have work permit, an approved work permit, I mean to say. Do you currently residing in Sault Ste. Marie? If you say yes, you have to upload a proof of residency. And if you say no, then you don't have to upload anything. And this is the additional document which is not mentioned in their website. So here you can produce a reference letter, and if you have done any volunteer activity, you can upload that document here, and this will benefit your application. So this is not a mandatory document, but it's always good to have extra document to support your file. So that's it. When you click on submit, your application will be submitted and it will go to RNIP Sault Ste. Marie, and you will receive mail confirmation from city saying that your application is submitted. And if you meet all requirement, one coordinator will call you for further steps. And this is how you apply for Sault Ste. Marie RNIP program. Hope this information is helpful for you and you are able to apply for your RNIP application. If you have any queries and doubts, you can mention in the comment section below. I will see you in the next video with more such information. Till then, bye bye, take care. Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to another video. This video is part of RNIP process series. This series will educate you from the basics, like from where to download the application forms, how to download the application form, and what are the issues with respect to PDF files, how to fill the application form, what is the eligibility criteria for RNIP, how to fill the different application forms, how to apply for city, and how to apply for federal. In this video, we will discuss how to get a job which will help you in getting RNIP. So let's start this video. To find a job which helps you to get an RNIP, you should know the eligibility criteria for applicant and the employer. In my previous video, I have discussed about eligibility criteria for applicant, which includes city requirement and federal requirement. But you should also know the employer's requirement. If your employer is eligible to sponsor you for RNIP, for that you have to know the employer's requirement. Also in this video, I'm going to tell you about where you can find the jobs, where you can search, also the name of the companies which provide RNIP. So watch this video till the end. So let's see the employer's requirement. For that, we have to go to my laptop. To know the eligibility criteria of the employer, you have to go to the city's website, which is Welcome to SSM. You can write Sault Ste. Marie RNIP and click on the first link. You will see RNIP page and you have to scroll down. So rather than clicking on applicant, you have to click on employers. And here are the employers eligibility requirement. First is the location. Location of the employer should be within the boundaries of Sault Ste. Marie. Second point is employer should be active at least for 3 years in Sault Ste. Marie, and they have to provide few documentation if requested. So question arises, if the new employer or the employer does not have 3 years of business in Susan Mary, can they sponsor applicants? And the answer is yes, and which is mentioned in the third point. If the employer's business is less than 3 years and they are willing to sponsor the foreign applicant, they can do that. They have to contact Economic Development Corporation. So they will do the assessment of the employer. After successful assessment, they can sponsor the applicant or the foreign national person. Fourth point is employer has to provide detailed information of their labor need and have no outstanding order made against them under the Ontario Employment Standard Act 2000 or the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Sixth point is also very important, and it says that employer have at least 3 full-time employees who are Canadian citizen or permanent resident who work at the location where the candidate will work. So employer should have at least 3 candidates who are Canadian citizen or PR holder. Employer should not be in violation of IRPA and IRCC list. If you scroll down, there are few more requirements. Job offer must be full-time and permanent. This I have mentioned in my most of the videos. So what full-time means? Full-time job means minimum of 1560 hours in a year and minimum 30 hours per week. And permanent job means it should not be seasonal job and job should not have any end date. Also, the wage should be in range of specified region of Ontario. Employer has to show the confident on the candidate that he can perform the task mentioned in the offer letter. They can demonstrate by candidate's past experience, interviewing the candidate, and the different checks they have done before selecting the candidate. Third point says that the employer did not receive any form of payment in exchange of job offer letter. They also have to show that they have made effort to recruit Canadian citizen or the permanent holder prior selecting a foreign national person. In the fifth point, employer has to meet one of the criteria from these 4 options. First point is completing at minimum 3 hours of intercultural competency training provided by local immigration partnership. Second point is providing a letter of recommendation from an IRCC funded settlement service agency located in Sault Ste. Marie, supporting their ability to hire, welcome and support foreign workers as observed within the past 3 years. Third point is demonstrating the presence of an active diversity committee within the organization by submitting meeting minutes from any committee meeting held within the past 6 months. Last point is providing an individualized settlement plan co-signed with the foreign worker which is not residing in Sault Ste. Marie at the time of application. If you as an employer not able to understand few of the processes, you have to contact Economic Development Corporation. They will help you and they will guide you what document to produce and how you can be eligible for sponsoring a foreign worker for RNIP. Other than LinkedIn and Indeed website, you can find jobs in Sault Ste. Marie in these applications. First one is City's website. You can check out careers page in welcome to ssm.com website. Also many jobs are listed in sutoday.com website. You can check the careers page here. You can also check Sault Ste. Marie Community Center website, which is Sioux Community Career Center website. You can also check federal level jobs in jobbank.gc.ca. This is referred by IRCC. So you can type the location, for example, Sault Ste. Marie, and you can see all the job listed for Sault Ste. Marie. These are the main website where you can hunt for your jobs, which will help you to get RNIP. Till now, we have seen eligibility criteria for employer and how employer can register with city to sponsor an applicant, where you can search for the jobs. And now we will see top industries present in Sioux. It is good to know top employers of Sioux because there are very high chances that these employers are already registered with city and might already sponsor the applicant. So let's see the top industries. So I'm on city's website, which is welcome to ssm.com. And if I scroll down, it starts with manufacturing and fabrication companies, forestry and forest products, lottery and gaming, energy related organizations, digital economy, aviation. And there are a few more industries that you can explore, like driving schools, security companies, healthcare industry, in SU. At the bottom of the page, there are more public sector companies are mentioned. So I am assuming public sector companies are by default registered for RNIP because both are government and government affiliated organizations. They might already registered for RNIP, and if you get selected in these organizations, there are very high chances that they can sponsor you for RNIP. And on different page of same website, you can see public and private sector organization. Since it is present on city's website, I am assuming that they are already registered for RNIP and they can sponsor the applicant for RNIP. You will be in a good position if you get selected by these companies for applying your RNIP application. Now you know what is the eligibility criteria for employer, you know where to find the job, and what are the targeted companies. So go ahead and look for the job. All the best from my side. If you have any questions and any clarification required, just put them in the comment section. I will reply you. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and share with your friends. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.